So we are just going to start here with welcome Cody Bryce to Gatherings of Light once again. And finally, we got the time and date together here. Hi, Cody.
Hello. Yeah.
So how are you?
Like, fairly good, I guess, considering all. It's a bit of a cloudy day, so a little dreary, if you will. But yeah, overall, pretty nice. And yourself?
Oh, it's so intense everywhere. So it's going to be very interesting to talk to you today about the beautiful topic. What
Yeah.
was it once
Holding
again?
on to your truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
holding on to
holding
your
on
truth.
to your truth.
Yeah.
And that is such a tough one right now. And
Hmm.
I got that feeling right when you said it, holding on to your truth. And I felt it inside of me like that's almost impossible. Everybody is on the
Hmm.
edge today. Everybody is feeling inside out, upside down. Everybody is everywhere. There are so much emotions passing through in the ether in the every human being right now. So I don't think people know what the truth is. So it's probably so darn hard to hold on to the truth. So let's hear what you have to say about that.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Holding on to your truth is much more than just not lying or that type of stuff. Truth is much deeper. It's almost it goes all the way down to how you experience reality, how you view reality, because truth is tied to belief. What you believe in, belief systems kind of govern everything. They govern your perception of reality and everything that comes with that. So yeah, holding on to the truth is very difficult, especially in this time when there is a lot of energies going everywhere, and there's also a lot of information. We're kind of in the information age where there's so much information that you don't know what to believe, where to look, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, it gets quite hard.
So how are we going to navigate through all this energetically invasion of light and energies? Because there
Yeah.
there is an invasion of light. Everybody's
Mhm.
feeling it inside. So please
Mhm.
tell us how and describe more of what we should do and expect.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the main thing is introspection, being able to sense your own energy, to be able to, know yourself. Because when you know yourself, then you can navigate better. You know, so having that sense of, okay, I got this new piece of information. I'm going to sit it, and I kind of feel if it matches my vibe or not. If I resonate with it, usually the time if you resonate with it, there'll be some sort of excitement about it. There'll be some sort of draw towards it. And if it's not, true for you, if you're not resonating with it, then you will feel that it's a little bit off, maybe a little bit distant. It's not fully, you know, solid within you. And so you can kind of differentiate just by your feeling on that information. So it's truly about introspection and having that awareness of yourself, of what resonates and what doesn't.
Hmm. So yeah, it's still a lot to navigate through, right? So what would
Right.
you say more about holding on to your truth? Because it sounds both easy because it's probably very easy. You feel within yourself, and we need to learn how to trust ourselves and how to feel these emotions that we get inside, and if it resonates with me, it's probably my truth. But we are still going through because I firmly believe that the sun is, you know, giving away such a energy blast, and I do believe that almost everyone is feel that blast within oneself. The DNA may not change in the way that scientifically we think it would be, but it feels like it's working very, very deep inside of you in a way. You can almost
Mm-hmm.
feel that you can't control it. It's something that happening outside of yourself that affects something inside of you. And I guess that that can mess up a lot of our human navigation system, how we should react to the other outer world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you catch up with what I'm
Yeah,
meaning?
exactly. Yeah, and I think the key part with that, or at least with one of it, is having such energies around it, you feel unstable because this is definitely the month or kind of the time, at least recently, that all those energies kind of come up, and it's caused uh, basically what it was meant to do is get you unstable because when you're unstable, you get to readjust, you get to find your next footing a little bit better. So it's like you get unstable from your normal everyday kind of routines and feelings and all that type of stuff, and it's all shooken up. And while it's shooken up, it's easier to get rid of stuff that doesn't match you, stuff that holding you back, and all that stuff. So when it's all shooken up, it's easier to get rid of stuff, and therefore when you start settling back down, you have a stronger, firmer foundation, stronger sense of self, and you have a better view and kind of outlook onto what you're going to be doing next. Um, so it was definitely a time of chaos, if you will, but that chaos is needed, and so it's basically somewhat coming to a close. It might not necessarily close, but it's going to maybe settle down a little bit, not be as intense within the next month. This month, so September was a very crazy, very intense month. Lots of astrological stuff happening, lots of retrogrades, lots of all that stuff, and so it was really intense. And therefore, this next month is going to be still uh, shaking stuff up, but it's going to be a bit calmer. Yeah, it's definitely a crazy time. And holding on to the truth, one of the topics I kind of wanted to bring up with truth is that each person has their own truth, and that's why I say holding on to your truth, not the truth, because each person has a different version of reality that they're experiencing. So one person's truth can be true for them, and another person's truth can be true for them, and both those can be completely different, but they're both valid and both true for them. And that's where I think a lot of people are getting mixed up here, and why there's causing like a little unnecessary chaos, if you will, is saying, I believe this, you have to believe what I believe. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what's been happening throughout the whole earth, basically, with religion and different ideologies and all that type of stuff. Is I believe this, therefore you have to believe it too. But now is the time of holding on to your truth and acceptance of other people, so you can have different views of reality but still coexist together.
Hmm. I totally agree. It's so much easier to identify your own feelings and verify them if someone else is feeling the same. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is a part of the human collective consciousness that we have been living through or connected to the grid or the matrix or whatever you want to call it. Um, and we need to, almost have the same experience to believe that it's actually happening. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so by holding on to the truth, it's more like learning how to sort out what's right for me. And it's such a beautiful description you just made, and it brings back a conversation we had about, the human consciousness once upon a time, where we were talking about how every single one of us is like a solar reflection on a diamond shaped,
Mm-hmm.
crystal.
Yeah,
Uh, it's the
yeah.
same crystal, but we have different
Mm-hmm.
spectra of light or colors or whatever we want to call it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I feel so much
Yeah,
calmer right away.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bishar calls it the holographic crystal of reality. So
Mm,
it's like a hologram, but it's a crystal, and it kind of changes from how you view it on stuff. Another good description is bubble.
Mm.
source consciousness itself is within the bubble, and then on the surface, the actual bubble itself is all the different realities of everything happening here and now. So all of us, every possible thing, and it's just depending on where source puts its attention to the different places on the surface of that bubble is the different perspectives of reality. So it's just one gigantic bubble that is, you know, source in the middle, and wherever it's, projecting its consciousness or projecting its energy is how it's viewed. Yeah.
Mm. And probably it also makes a lot of sense if people who are, or everybody who is feeling this stress within self, that they are feeling that this chaotic, and to know that if we are connected through this holistic shape, um, and spectra of light, that we are picking up each other's reactions automatically. We are connected with each other. So now is also the time to sort out, and that is probably a part of holding on to your truth, that don't dive into every feeling that are arriving within your own space, because it might not be your own feelings that you are feling.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what
Exactly.
you
Yeah, we're
said, but with
so
other
connected,
words.
and
Yeah.
yeah, well, even on just the what would seem like a more 3D version or kind of grounded, your heart projects basically a sphere, electromagnetic sphere, every time that it pulses. So every time that it, pulses, you're projecting out this energy field, and it's projecting out faster than the speed of light. It's just immediate,
Mm.
and everybody's doing it all the time. Therefore, we're all in each other's energy field, if you will, our magnetic energy pulses. And that pulse basically sends information to all the other hearts, all the other, beings,
Mm.
um, with your energy, your that type of thing, your kind of information. And therefore, we're constantly getting information from every being everywhere. So it's a constant boom, 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 and every single heartbeat. We're all connected all the time. And so it's even more like that. That's like a more 3D version, a more like scientific version that can be uh, scientifically proven that there's just that electromagnetic kind of sphere that comes out every single pulse. It's been kind of recorded. And so for people that need that scientific proof that we're all connected, yeah, we're all in each other's energetic field.
Oh, I definitely believe that, and there is a study that showing how the trees and everything that is in our environment is connecting to each other. The energy that are moving through the trees, or between the trees and the grass and the bushes and everything outside there, feel and senses is each other's um, growth, death, everything that is, and they can send signals, and they can measure the magnetic impulses in the earth when they are detecting, for example, water underground, and suddenly every root is picking up signals that is similar to everyone, and they are, growing the roots towards the water. It's such an amazing connection that is actually there, and that is a study that they have worked pretty hard on, and it's published, and I know it's both in English and in Swedish. And if the environment that we are living in is alive and talking to each other throughout impulses and energy and everything, then of course humans are included in that too. We are pulsating energies here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those truths that are based on the beliefs. Like if you truly believe it, truly have that sense of that it is true, then it enhances that connection, enhances the ability to connect to others and to nature and to everything. And it can be even go further past it to where um, essentially like how there's prosthetic limbs and there can be signals from the body, from the brain, all that stuff to the prosthetic limb, and it makes the prosthetic limb move. Now, the reason that that it moves is you believe that the signal is going to the arm and the prosthetic arm and everything limb and moving it. Now, you are connected to everything. So it's like you're in this energetic web. And so, technically your entire body is a prosthetic because your energy, your consciousness is projecting into this this body and moving it, But you're not limited to just connecting to the body. You're connected to everything. Therefore, if you truly believe you're connected to everything, you can literally move objects around you. So, like you say, you have like a crystal around you or something like that. A crystal around you. So that's the first thing I see. So you have a crystal around you, and you want it to move. If you have that true belief, that like deep truth, that you're connected to everything, then that crystal will move just as easily as you moving your hand. You know, it's just that level of connection, and like you being everything, you
Are
having
you
that.
talking about the pendulum?
Now there's that's like a direct connection to it.
Telekinesis,
So it's kind
where
of
you're
like that, but
moving
it's
your mind?
yeah, yeah, moving it with your mind basically. So yeah, it's that kind of power, if you will. Kind of it seems you know so science fiction or so out there and all that stuff. It's not possible, but that's just because you have the belief that's not possible. So if you have the belief, if you have the truth that you can do it, then you can, you know.
Mm.
So that's why I say truth is so much bigger than just not lying, or it's just some facts that you were told somewhere. It's deep within your rooted ability to react and project your consciousness into reality. So yeah, it's much deeper.
Well, that's it's kind of funny actually because I went to the where we have a sort of a carnival in a close town here, and it has a lot of you know funny rides and etc. But they also have a connected to that place. There is a name of science. You can go in there and you can look at all the experiments that have been taking place for a couple past 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this future technology and whatever that people are available to look at and read about and try out in a very small window. But they have this
Mm-hmm.
little box, like one meter maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that box has a metal ball that you are supposedly placing your hands upon, and there is a smaller round, I don't know, probably metal too, ball inside under the glass, and with your thought you are supposed to move that thing. So I was standing there feeling pretty sure that I was going to make this happen because I feel like I'm empowered. And that little ball didn't move at all. And I got so frustrated because I was so sure, like, if you're holding on to something that is magnetic, it wouldn't be that hard. So I was like telling my friends, oh, this is probably bullshit. And there was a man walking up to this. I said, no, no, it's all actually working, placing his hand upon this metal ball. And the little ball inside started to move like a ping pong ball inside there. And I was like, what? And he just said bye. And so, yeah, it works. It works. People can move things. I can't, but people can. Other people can. Mm.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
been have you
and
been trying out that sometimes? Have you moved anything with your mind?
yeah, somewhat, yeah. It's easier to start off small, if you will, stuff that's like very, very light. The easiest way is like taking a little piece of paper, folding it into kind of like a box shape, if you will, with a point, and then you have something like a pencil or something, and you hold onto the pencil, and you have that little paper and you just imagine the paper spinning and it'll start spinning basically. So you can start light and small, and then you can move up into the heavier object. But it takes a lot of energy to actually do it. So even if you have the truth and you have the full knowledge that you can do it and it is possible, there's just some people that it's just not in their cards, if you will, to be able to do it. It's just not one of their special abilities, their fortes. And so some people can be very good at it and have barely any knowledge or any uh, what's it drive to do it. They just can naturally do it, and then others will, like me and you, really, really, really want to do it, but it's a lot harder. We have to put a lot more effort into doing it.
Yeah, we can also say everybody can sing, but not everybody will be listened to, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
But holding on to your truth is also something that is placed right in time, if I may say so. Um, I know this is a topic that we've been talking about, should we say, from the beginning of the COVID period,
Mhm.
and that is, of course, shadow work and the
Mhm.
purging. So holding on to your truth or holding on to your own feelings and truth and follow your own path. Would you like to say that it's right in time with this end purging, so to speak, that this is the final
Mhm.
games in the ascension time? Because I feel so.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was actually listening to Cryon fairly recently, and uh, there's been this shift that's happening, the energetic shift, and that's kind of part of the ascension process. It has to deal with the precession of the equinox, and so there's basically this like 36-year window where uh, essentially the light gets turned on and you get to see all the dirt, you get to see all the grime and all the type of stuff that's in reality. And so that started in about 1994. So this energy is kind of it's slow beginning and slow exit basically. So it's a couple of years here and there, but around 1994. So it's been about 30, 31 years that we've been going through this shift, right? And a whole bunch of stuff has happened in the last 30 years. A lot of upheavals, if you will, a lot of kind of shining the light onto the shadow, onto the stuff that need to be cleaned up. And so right now, as crime would say, is that it's 5 years and counting, and essentially we have about 5 years left in this cycle. And so it's basically the end time to really clean all the garbage out, you know, um, and really clean up. And so it's really important to be doing the shadow work and all that stuff. But it's not like it's once the cycle is over, it's like done deal. If you didn't clean up, you lost your chance or anything like that. No, it's more like after the 5 years are over and it kind of wanes out, it's not going to be as intense. There'll still be purging, there'll still be awakenings, there'll still be advancements in the consciousness and all that type of stuff. It'll just be much calmer. It's not going to be as chaotic as it has been within the last 30 plus years. um, so it's still
So,
going to be
yeah.
ascending. Yeah.
So you said
Right.
something earlier that it's been a bit of chaotic uh, time right now, but it's going to slow down the next month
Mm-hmm.
or within the next
Mm-hmm.
month. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, do you really feel that?
Well, I think it's just not going to be as intense as this month. Like this month has been like really, really intense for me. That's why I feel like maybe it's more of a personal thing. Uh, I think for me, it's going to slow down next month, but overall, I think my mom kind of feels that way too. She's quite sensitive to these energies, and she actually keeps up on the astrological stuff a little bit more than I do. With what planets are in retrograde, what shifts the moon moves in, all that type of stuff. And so she was like, yeah, this month September was so crazy because we had so many different energies hitting us all at once. We had this blood moon that was in the day. We had, all these retrogrades. We had, the moon in Virgo. And so it's like these crazy, crazy issues that make it so that like it wasn't a good time to make drastic decisions or very like big decisions, but it was a time to kind of retrospect and kind of start balancing yourself, start going inward and clearing out stuff so you can move forward. And she was like, yeah, but next month it's not going to be as you know, spotlight on you type of thing. You're still going to have some chaos and that type of stuff, some unsettling, but I don't think it's going to be as jarring as it was in September when it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like it was like I felt kind of stable for a bit, and then out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, okay, followed. Like, and so I think because it started so intensely, next month is going to feel as intense.
Well, I hope you're right. Yeah, it has been a rocky month emotionally, and I feel that there is so difficult to be in a space of serenity, to be in that space, when everything feels harmonic.
Mm-hmm,
So even if you
mm-hmm,
wake up with the intention of today is a good day and I will be in my own space of energy and everything is beautiful,
mm-hmm,
you take a step
mm-hmm.
outside your own or front door,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's like boom, and you are surrounded by all these energies, conflicts, uh,
Mm-hmm,
questionings, everything, and you feel that it's weighing you down in such a
mm-hmm,
idiotic, rapidly
mm-hmm.
speed.
Yeah.
You feel like, how in the world am I supposed to be calm and holding the light when
Mm-hmm,
when everything just wants you to feel the same chaotic emotions that you feeling? So
mm-hmm,
it's it's not easy holding your own truth. It's not easy to navigate through this because it's more easy to get drowned within these energetic energies of people feeling necessarily
mm-hmm,
compulsively. They just want you to feel and experience their own questionings and feel their
mm-hmm,
negative energy towards something, and they do need to hear that you are with them within this feeling. And if you don't want to go down that rabbit hole with that energy, then you get questioned because why aren't you willingly stepping
mm-hmm.
down that rabbit hole with me? So
Yeah.
navigation, how do we navigate there?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the lesson basically that we're kind of trying to be, that we're learning, if you will, is that essentially we have to be adaptive. So, when you wake up and you're like, okay, today's going to be all good, and you get hit with this stuff, it's kind of that test of like, okay, well, do you actually feel that energy, or was that kind of a placebo of like, I want it, I'm hopeful for it to be good, but I'm not actually sure if it's going to be good. And so you get hit with it. Okay, well, let's test it, and then you get hit with that negativity and all that type of stuff, and you're like, okay, it's the choice. Do I go down with them, or do I hold on to my truth, hold on to the feeling of it's going to be good, holding on to the positivity. And so even if you're going through all this chaos, or even if there's chaos around you, I should say, the test is, can you hold yourself within the chaos? Can you hold the light within the darkness? And it's easier to do that if you built up a foundation beforehand. When a couple of years ago, but we can still do it, but it's just a little bit harder to do. Building up that foundation to be solid, so that whatever comes your way, whatever hits you, you're still holding true. You're still, solid within your own energies. You're not letting other energies push you in all of these other directions. And so it's the ultimate test right now, if you will, of have you learned the lesson to be your own person, not fall in with the crowd.
I almost felt like a bit disappointed at myself right now. Like
I
I'm
know.
failing, big failure. I had this thought earlier today, actually, when I was talking to someone, like, it's so much easier to holding my own truth or feeling this, comfort zone around me and holding a light when I'm totally alone. No, so put me on an
Oh yeah.
island and I can meditate and holding that beautiful vision of light, but not interfering with people.
Hmm.
No, 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 it's not like that. I like to, you know, make fun of it. But there is a bit confusion about that because not everybody is able to withdraw themselves from the crowd. Some have
Hmm.
to actually integrate with people with that are not feeling good on a daily basis, and are
Hmm.
way down, and that is very hard when they want to drag you into that conversation. I'm not necessarily saying that they are dragging you
Hmm.
down because they are feeling their own, you know, uh,
Hmm.
shadow work or the in that you said that they had to process that. But I can use my own family as an example. There, you start with some "Hi, how are you?" and everything is fine and everything is fun,
Hmm.
and switch, it's not. And then it's slowly,
Hmm.
it's like walking down a stair. Uh, for every word you're saying, the energy gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and suddenly you're feeling like, oh, I'm a being on the violet fire, just want to purge right there and then. And maybe that is a part of the process to be within that energy and actually using these purging methods. The violet flame is beautiful to use to clear energy that is not um, bringing you forward, if you should say that.
Hmm.
Do you want to address
Oh
that?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, because essentially everything is reflection. So those people, bringing up these subjects and all that stuff, if you have certain feelings about it that kind of, isn't right, it isn't your truth, and it's kind of bringing you down, they're acting as a reflection to say, oh, you still have belief systems that will allow you to get brought down. And so it's saying, oh, you can still work on these things. You can still purge these things. You can still heal these things, and you can still uh, reprogram your beliefs, if you will, of around certain things. And so they're kind of being used and to show you different aspects of yourself that can still be healed. And at least in some, not all uh, moments or all situations, but some situations can be used as a reflective tool. Others, they're doing their own thing, they're in their own world, and you just are somehow a part of it, most likely to be a reflection to them of the positive, of the things that they can grow to. So you act as the spotlight, you act as the example. So it's not like you're forcing them to change or forcing them to like not go down those roads. You can just be the example of, yes, that stuff might be happening, but I'm still okay. I'm still grateful for the stuff that I'm going through or that I have. That it's like, yes, that stuff is happening, but I choose to focus on the positive.
Yeah.
And so you're that shining example, shining light.
And that I do believe very firmly in that the time right now is to try to stay in that state of mind that you are not being drawn down,
Mm-hmm.
protecting your own
Mm-hmm.
energies. And what I wanted to um, get the reaction by this is that a lot of people, and I do that sometimes too, when it gets too messy around me energetically, I don't shut down. That is not that word that I'm searching for, but to close or seal off the energy. And it's and I know this is so easy to say that, well, I don't care because I don't let that thing affect me, but that is actually exactly what it is doing because I need to close down, or me could be like anybody. But they're so much easier to close. First, you notice that you are going with everybody down the rabbit hole or going
Mhm.
down in the energy. And when you notice that, you start to shut down, close everybody out and, keeping your own space. And that is not the correct way to handle this either because you're still struggling with the energies like you were explaining right now. But you are containing them within yourself. So you are not
Mhm.
letting them go, you're not processing it. So this is, as I see it, definitely these times that you don't have a choice anymore. If you did try to do your shadow work before and, get rid of a lot of or make amends with the past or whatever is within you or you're carrying with you, so to speak. Now, if you did do that, you're probably feeling a little bit better today. If you didn't do that, you probably are way down to the cellar and being yourself, grateful for what you have and where you are right now, and not closing down those energy will be the perfect example of shining and holding the light that everybody can take credit for, maybe not credit, but could be available to energize up with. I don't know. I don't have the correct words
Mhm.
for it, but I,
Mhm.
I think you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yes, yeah. Essentially, you're cocooning. You're putting this protective shell around you, which doesn't allow energies out, but also doesn't allow energies in.
Yeah,
So it's a self-sustaining kind of not full negative loop, but it's kind of just a non-progressive loop.
yeah,
You're stewing in your own energies, not letting anything flow. So yeah, and then if you do have that ability to shine out and all that type of stuff, you are the example that others can resonate and reflect.
mm,
So if you keep that positive light, that shining example, and others see it, some might react negatively because it'll be shining the fact that they aren't at that level, and therefore they'll get either jealous or it'll kind of bring out that ego and kind of negative ego, if you will, and all this other stuff. And so they might not take it well, but others will see it and say, oh, they're doing really good. What are they doing that I can implicate into my own life? What can I, take from them and integrate? And so, yeah, you become that walking example of how to live life, or maybe not how to live life, but a better way to exist. You know, um,
fulfilling
so,
the purpose that we were supposed to do when we are here, holding the
mm-hmm,
light. Um, so no one
exactly.
is
Mm-hmm,
getting away from these energies. No one is getting away from this time that we are living in. And somewhat we could say that it's a race against time if you don't. Um, I wouldn't say if you don't do this, then you won't do this, but somewhat it is.
yeah.
It's a choice too.
Mm-hmm,
How silly
yeah.
that sounds, but even if you don't have to, let go of everything until tomorrow, you probably have a couple of more years. What did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Five, four,
Yeah.
5 years?
Yeah. 5 years and counting. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's more like it's not like you're never going to change, you're never going to improve and all that stuff even after the 5 years. It's like this time is giving you a boost, the fastest route to be able to do it.
yeah,
And so even if you don't do it now, you still have a way of doing it, but it'll just be much slower. It'll be much, a harder process.
mm,
Doing it now is almost like you're pouring gasoline on the fire within, and therefore you're burning faster, burning, hotter and all that stuff, and therefore you can get rid of stuff easier, can move faster.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's just an accelerated time.
Yeah, it's definitely accelerated times, and I think that the word uh, the split is going on right now also make people stress out in the minds and emotions, because
Yeah.
you are feeling even and this somehow it is a split, right? You are feeling
Mm-hmm.
if you are not going into what we are talking about right now, you will still have this window of doing that for the next 36 years or in a circle, or
Mm-hmm.
cycle of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the energy is still pulling that energies from. So you can have a cycle on the left or you can have a cycle on the right. And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like when Uh, I got this vision. I was at a medium for many, many years, almost like I think that was the first English medium that I met. Marjorie Kite was her name. She was a old lady back then, so she's probably not around anymore. But she said something like, I never get a lot of ancestors, saying popping by saying hi. It's usually very empty, so I don't uh, attend to sessions because there is nobody arriving, into the
Mm-hmm.
space of saying hi. But
Mm-hmm.
she said that my grandpa was, making himself available, that he was there, but he wasn't so close. And my grandma on my father's side, she had left for a long time ago. Like when she passed, she went straight back to the place where she was raised in another dimension, or another
Mm-hmm.
place, so to speak. And I gave it a lot of thought, but now it's so much. If I'm using that as an example, that the split is very much like that. It's a choice you are doing. It's your spiritual choice. Uh, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter where you go if you are always on the perfect time where you are, but
Mm-hmm.
you're either evolving to the right or to the left, or up or forward, or you're always going one direction, and no direction is less than the other direction. Uh, One direction could be more fun, if
Mm-hmm.
my own truth. Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And I think people like to simplify as well to where it's, oh, you're either going right or left, you're either evolving to the highest level or you're staying down with the muck or whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah.
life isn't,
Harry
you
Potter and
know,
the Magloria.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yes. But it's more complicated than that because
Mm.
life is, as I obviously like to say, life is like a film strip. It's one frame of reality at a time, and you're just moving through the frames. But that also means that there's like an infinite amount of paths that you can take, and that type of thing. So it's not just one or two. There's infinite, in between this whole spectrum, and so it's you can go to the highest level if you want to go, or you can go in a softer route, if you will, of kind of not really changing much at all. But as you said, they're all perfect. They're all exactly what you needed to do or exactly what you wanted to do at the time. And as Source would say, or not say, but as it is, it's trying to be all thing possible. And so you existing on your path is what Source wanted to experience. And so it's not like, oh, I did something wrong. I'm kind of being punished for not doing my work or something like that. It's not these negative things that we often associate with because Source doesn't do it that way. It's just experiencing life, and you're being the vessel for it to be able to experience itself. So it's not negative. It's not bad that you're not going to the right side instead of that type of thing. It's all perfect in its own way.
Yeah, it's only human words that we are putting on it because it's so much easier to have a description of what could happen. So when we are
Mm-hmm.
talking, you can't put words to energies. So there, you need to feel the energy. But the truth is that there are cycles, and the cycles are coming whether you're ready or not. And they will make you do choices, choose, not choices, but they make you choose. And they, not by holding a gun to your head, but you are being presented within like this time right now that we are confronting ourselves and everybody else around us with feelings or what we are going through. Could we hold the energy, or what is your task? How do you respond to it? Um, and I do resonate, and I do believe what you addressed there, that somewhere you need to find your own space. You need to find your own, you know, feeling good vibe within yourself, and trying to be in that even though people are affecting you. And if you're getting drawn down or feeling your energy loss when you are talking to people, or feeling around, just being in a place that are not uh, making it for you, it's still okay, to have these feelings within your space. Just be aware. The awareness of that they are there and they are not yours is a protection too. It's protection of your own soul's energies.
Exactly. Yeah, the awareness is key because once you're aware of it, then you can deal with it. If you're not aware and you're just, you know, going through life without, like you believing that their negative energy is your negative energy, or like you're not, realizing that it's, theirs at all. You just think it's yours, and then yeah, it's going to be much harder to navigate and to be able to heal and to separate yourself from that stuff. So yeah, awareness is 100% key to being able to choose what reality you want to exist in.
Mm. So if you were going to give an affirmation to people, what would that be? Yeah, I mean, you wake up and feeling very good, and to keep being that good vibe, you probably want to do a, you know, a mantra or affirmation, or
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mantra.
what
And that's
would you?
actually kind of interesting. Yeah, I usually don't do any mantras or affirmations, anything like that. I think the way that I stay stable is almost staying neutral, to where I'm not trying to be positive, but I'm not also going into negative. And so staying neutral allows me to have more flexibility in what's coming my way, you know? And so I
That's
kind of
because you're coding.
wake up and, yeah, it's a little bit easier for me to do that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think for the average person, they need to have that mantra, that affirmation, then basically saying that I am source, I am right, or not right. Right isn't the right word. I'm fine. I am flowing, and I how we always end is or how I always end our conversations. I say flow with love. And that one's a really good one because when you say flow with love, that means you're flowing with source. You're flowing with the innate energy of existence. It allows you to stay on that positive light, that positive flight, and flow, because love is usually on the positive side, So flowing with love means that you're flowing with the positive.
It sounds like Star Wars, walk with light, or what is it
Yeah.
Yoda said? You know,
Oh yeah.
be the
May the force be with you.
yeah, you made the force be with you. Yeah,
Okay.
that is a beautiful one too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
um, do you not want to address something else around this holding your truth?
Somewhat. Whenever I think of truth, there's always a story that pops up in my mind, and I always love this story. Or at least it was a historical fact, basically, around a certain time period in the Egyptian culture when Akhenaten was in the pharaoh, and Akhenaten was definitely not human. So he brought a lot of changes to the thing. Where one of them he made the one god thing because they had like 64 gods and everybody was just chaotic and didn't know where to put their faith and all that stuff. So he got away with all that as the one god, and he ruled for around 10 years or so. But the one thing that he was really, really passionate about was truth and having what, back then was one of the gods is Isis, the goddess of truth. And so he was really passionate about that. So passionate that he said wearing clothes was not being truthful to yourself. And so most for the entire time period that he was in power, people didn't wear clothes. Everybody was just walking around naked. You know? And the only people that wore clothes is if it was during a ceremonial, like a ritual, type of thing, or if the environment needed the clothes, like if it was a cold spot or something like that. But it was Egypt; it was usually warm all the time. Um, Therefore, they can kind of get away with it. You're not really going to be doing that in Sweden.
No.
um, yeah, yeah. But yeah, and so that was just one of my kind of a fun history, our time period on Earth where there's just an entire civilization not wearing clothes because it was not being truthful to themselves.
So in that period, they were closer to the source than we are right now. Naked truth.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bad joke. Bad
yeah,
joke.
yeah. Well, no, that's great, but yeah, it's one of those stories that just kind of made me laugh as well. But it was kind of like, wow, yeah, that it's you're going so deep into holding your truth or holding the truth that even having clothes on means that you're lying about your divine self, if you will.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, no clothes. Yeah.
It's a serious thing, so I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
joke about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
we have a similar story here. I think more like a child story. The Emperor's
Mm-hmm.
clothes, I think it's called. And yeah, he thinks he have this, pure thread of silk that his clothes is made of, but in the truth, they just told him that they were so pure that the only the pure one could see them. So he went naked. But yeah, that's a similar content within that. Uh, I want to address something else that still has
Mm-hmm.
something connected to everything that's going on because the sun has been doing a lot of, this eruption lately, and they are still waiting for the big blast.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be like the explosions that had been on a nearby uh, star system that there actually has been some explosions from the stars. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for real. But so I truly believe it. I don't believe that our sun is going to, have this, cosmic blowout right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not the time, but there is a lot of activity in the space, Cody.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. It's but like to reaffirm you, yeah, I don't think there's going to be some apocalyptic EMP pulse from the sun that's going to wipe out all technology on Earth and destroy Earth and all that type of stuff. It, there's these with like Cryon and Bishar and them. They're like, yeah, no, that's just science fiction stuff. That's not really going to happen right now or anytime soon. You're fine, type of thing. But also my feeling, like that, I think that's just
Yeah, but I
yeah,
totally agree. I
too
don't
much.
feel like it's going to be any big loss either. But I do feel that this is something that is I know we've been talking about cycles before. Everything is taking place
Mm-hmm.
with an amount of like 25,000 years, and it's not like on
Mm-hmm.
the singular day. It's in the time frame, but around 25,000 years. So we are
Yeah.
actually in those times right now when a cycle is ending and starting all over again. And then
Yeah.
therefore we are talking about following into another vibration or following into another vibration. So there is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cycles closing in, opening up, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this interstellar thing moving
Mm-hmm.
in here, and they are saying that it's around Mars right now in the next
Yes.
couple of days. So, and
Yeah.
that I actually listened to someone. Oh, there's so many fun. YouTube clips there, and then they are all like, "Oh, NASA is in panic attack, and oh, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
terrifying." I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about those who actually are giving more information about scientific data and then doing calculations of
Mm-hmm.
where it's going and so on. And they said that this time that this thing is moving is so precise when they are doing these calculations, and don't ask me how they are doing it, but to be a interstellar object coming in that high speed from a very far place and just moving in like with precisions close to our solar system is it's a very, very small chance that that's just going to happen by nature, almost like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. So I guess that
Yeah.
this brings some kind of energy that is helping to speed up the cycle or end one cycle or start another cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
just want
Yeah.
to know if it is changing anything for you.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that it's also bringing awareness to those in the scientific field that are a little bit closed-minded with different stuff. They think that they know everything, so to speak. And this object is redefining what they think and kind of making them question.
Hmm.
Because the Atlas is, for one, on October 3rd, it's going to be like insanely close to Mars, like almost hitting Mars. That's how like precise they're saying. It's right next to Mars on October 3rd. But the other thing is that it's not reacting as normal comets or anything like that would, where like for the shine, usually how they track these comets is from the kind of vapor that is coming off the comet that gives off a kind of the glow, kind of like the light. But this object isn't glowing from the vapor, glowing on the surface. So the surface itself is glowing and is dimming and then brightening up and dimming and brightening up, which is not supposed to happen. you know, Physics say that when, or like their data says that if a comet comes close to us, it will get brighter and brighter and brighter as it gets closer to the sun and closer to us.
Yeah,
But this object is getting very bright and then dimming all within a couple of days, which shouldn't happen at all. The other thing is that it's changing color. So normally, or where they said like first observations is that it has this red color around it, and then all of a sudden it changed to green, and it's going kind of like changing color. So that shouldn't happen as well.
yeah,
The other major thing is the comet's tail. Usually, the tail of the comet is always pointed away from the sun because solar winds are pushing the vapors of the comet and stuff away from it because it's constantly pushing it. This one has a tail or light, if you will, that is being directed directly at the sun. So it's not going opposite from the sun; it's pointing towards the sun. And scientists are really like having a hard time with that because that goes against physics itself, you know. And so they're like, this thing just does not make sense to us. And so yeah, it's a very interesting object coming into our space.
Yeah, it is, I like to watch some of the information that it brings because I think this is a splendid time. I honestly have no clue what it is, um, but I
Mhm,
think it's so fascinating that it's moving, in
mhm,
high speed, and
mhm,
sometimes it definitely is playing with our scientific data and our concept of
mhm,
what should be or not should be. So
mhm,
it probably have some kind of you know acceleration for human minds to move forward into science and try to catch up.
mhm,
And if we are
mhm,
going to have this, scientific evolution within our near future, we do need to change our concept, and we can't do that without having impulses from something that we don't believe or something that we can't
mhm,
grasp. We need to be, you know, we need to
mhm.
have some physical evidence that we can work with, and now we have it.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's fun. So, what do you
Yeah.
want to present for us, Cody? Do you have any healing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually, I because we were talking about the truth and all that stuff, I kind of wanted to go with the lapis lazuli again,
Mm,
but I had this drawing towards malachite. It's a nice green, you know, malachite. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
heart
So
stone.
not a yeah, it's a heart stone. It's very powerful. It's a power stone for me. So yeah, I think it was something about opening up the heart to allow better flow of energy or something. So that's kind of like the energy is kind of pulling me towards. Yeah, so I thought the crystal healing from the malachite would be a good choice for today.
Take it away.
Okay. If you don't know, I'm going to be doing some crystal energy healing. It's sending some magic from the crystal to you. If you want it, you verbally or internally say you accept the energy. If you don't, it won't touch you. All right. energy. Something feeling.
Yeah, that was a good one. I thought it would feel more in the heart space, but it actually went straight to the head.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mhm.
So felt good. Didn't get any images. Um, just basking in the
Yeah,
energies.
I
Very
yeah, I only
soft.
got the visuals of this like a green and yellow kind of haze. Um, but yeah, it was weird. It, like maybe like a quarter of the way into it, um, I did start actually connecting with like basically it took me a while to adjust to the energy. So I wasn't really spending a lot in the first quarter of it. Then it started actually flowing and going, and that's when it like just shot right up into headspace right there.
Mm, good.
Mhm.
It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess we are going to close this chat. Do you have something you feel like you have missed that you want to express?
Mhm. Well, I think we covered a lot of it. Um, yeah, I kind of feel good that we uh, at least got what I somewhat wanted to say out. So I think we're all good. Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling good. That's perfect. Um, shall we set another date? Do you October 14th? 4th, 14th? 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, yeah, 2 weeks. I'm good with 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't have to set topic yet. We can see what Atlas is going to do with us first. if we
Yeah,
if we
that'll be
are
good.
here for another chat.
Yes, yeah.
No, just kidding. Of course we are. In one way or another, in one dimension or the other. But yeah, thank you for an interesting chat today, Cody. Well expressed.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Thank you for having me. It was definitely a good conversation to have.
Yeah, very harmonic, and it feels very perfectly in the energy. So thank you once again. Very good. And for those of you who are listening, this is Cody Bryce, Master of Expression, and the source carrier. If I'm going to present you, yeah, definitely. So tune in. We are being back here in for 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. Or what? So for everybody who is listening, thank you for being here. Cody saying, "Go with
Flow with
flow."
love.
Go with flow. Take
Flow with
care,
love.
everybody. Bye bye. Let's see if I can close this. Yeah, there it goes. Bye. And we are going to close this one.